Down this Wednesday morning, there are fears that pressure is growing on workers to return to the office after lockdown. Research out today suggests many employees fear their career progression will be hurt if they ask to continue working at home. Well, joining us now is the UK manager for LinkedIn, Janine Chamberlin, and workplace psychologist, Dr. Nick Zagouras. Morning to both of you. Thank you for joining us on the programme today. Let's start with maybe Janine Chamberlin. What does your research tell us, Janine?
Good morning. What our latest research is showing is that the old saying, out of sight, out of mind, still rings true, as workers in the UK are raising concerns over what we call proximity bias. They're worried that now that offices have reopened, if they're not showing up in the office and their colleagues are showing up in the office, will this potentially impact their career progression? In fact, nearly 2/5 of UK workers have flagged that they still believe there is a negative stigma attached to working from home. And almost 3/4 of them believe that it will have a negative impact on their career progression if they're not showing up in the office. And we can hear the same from companies. 4 out of 5 business leaders in the UK want to offer more flexibility to their employees, but they're raising the same concern of proximity bias. They're worried that managers might unintentionally favor those individuals who are showing up in the office and are therefore more visible to them, which could impact on career progression, conversations around promotions, pay increases, learning opportunities that they might be assigned. So we need to be really mindful about how we build this hybrid world of work and create it in a way that everybody can thrive regardless of their working location.
Nick Zagouras, are they right to be worried about this then with those figures there? Is there any proof that this is in fact happening?
The LinkedIn research reinforces what we hear from some of the employers that we work with at Maximus. So absolutely. The key thing here is about having two-way dialogue between the employers and the employees. And there are a number of things that the employees can do and consider. And the first one of them is about being confident and knowing the rights. And all employees in the UK have the legal right to request flexible working. So if they have been working from home, and they found improvements in the mental health, the well-being, the work-life balance, then, and now they're requested to go back to the office. Now is the time that they need to start initiating some of those conversations with the line managers about extending their flexible working for the future.
Is working from home then improving their mental well-being, Nick Zagouras?
Absolutely, and some employees have found that it's very much depending on the personal circumstances of individuals. People have found that they can maintain better work-life balance. Not having the stress of commuting to work has been beneficial for many, but other employees have struggled maybe more because of the feelings of isolation and loneliness. That working in the workplace and working with a group of colleagues can usually counteract. The key thing is about having those conversations between the employer and the employee, so that the employer or the line manager can provide the best environment for the employee to flourish.
I suppose, Janine Chamberlain, that does mean that if people are working from home more and more, they are missing out on any workplace activities or that gossip with colleagues?
Could be. I think there's many ways in which colleagues can continue to connect virtually. We've proven over the last 19 months that we can do this really well, including things like virtual coffees, which sounds very simple but can be extremely effective. There is obviously this concern amongst workers that they are missing out if they're not showing up in the office. And this is why organizations need to really think about training their managers to understand how they work with a remote and in-office workforce combined, to make sure that everybody feels included in all of the activities, including, as we were talking about, promotions and just opportunities to progress in your careers.
What about accidental favoritism? That's something that's borne out in your research, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the concern that we're talking about specifically. It's not intentional. It's just who you see in front of you might be that person that you ask the question to, that you start to see more of the work that they are producing. So it's really important that there are ways in which everybody, regardless of their location, can share back with their bosses what they are working on, what kind of things they would like to be working on to progress in their careers, to make sure that everybody has that equal opportunity ultimately to continue to progress. And we're really talking about training managers here. On LinkedIn, we've offered some free courses really thinking about unconscious bias, diversity and inclusion. How do we coach individuals regardless of their location? It's all about managers understanding how to bring these two worlds together in the best possible way going forward.
Nick Zagoras, I suppose this is the new norm, if you like. There is going to be some element going forward of working from home.
Yeah, that's very much what we hear from employers, and mixed ways of working seems to be the way forward. And the employees need to make the most of the resources that they have available to them as we're moving forward, so that they can be best supported in those flexible ways of working. A lot of employers already provide a lot of resources. We've heard from Janine about some of the resources that are available on LinkedIn, and they are accessible from employees. And also, a lot of employees have access to employee assistance programs, for example, in the workplace. So if they start finding that their mental health or the well-being is affected while they are working in new ways, then they can connect with those programs and have some confidential advice around them. And if they find that their mental health is deteriorating further or their well-being is deteriorating further, then having an occupational health assessment would be the right option for them.
All right, well, it's something we are sure going to pursue again. Nick Zagoras and Janine Chamberlin, thanks very much indeed for joining us here on the Early Rundown today.
Thank you.